During the 1990s, the entertainment industry was obviously much different than it is today. For starters, it seemed that for every major motion picture that came out, there were several smaller movies that followed to kind of offer counter-programming and get people to come back to the theater week after week. In fact, Disney itself made a bit of a cottage industry out of this, using their subsidiary studios of Miramax and Touchstone to release what then studio heads Michael Eisner and Jeffrey Katzenberg referred to as triples and doubles. Movies that didn't make a huge splash at the box office, but did well enough to make the studio some money and to get people to come back week after week back to the movie theater. Obviously, today things are much different. Every movie studio, it seems, is putting out a new franchise tentpole each month. Heck, this summer alone, we've had a Quiet Place sequel, we've had a Marvel movie, and we even had a G.I. Joe movie. And that's to say nothing of Space Jam: A New Legacy, which is its own monster and worthy of hours of discussion. Which leaves the question to be asked, is there any space anymore for these smaller solo movies, the ones that aren't tied into a bigger franchise? Do those triples and doubles still have a place in our entertainment landscape to bring people to the movie theater? Or, in the advent age of streaming services like Amazon Prime, Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, are those just destined to be resigned to those services for us to watch at home on a random Sunday afternoon? I can't quite explain why, but for some reason, this context really stood out to me when I went to go see Free Guy, the latest from 20th Century Studios. The movie stars Ryan Reynolds as the titular Guy and tells the story of a non-playable character, or NPC, in the world of Free City, which is its own kind of battle royale video game. Think in the same veins as like Fortnite or PUBG. It's one of those types of games. Anyway, in the film, Guy meets a mysterious player by the name of Molotov Girls and experiences kind of an awakening of sorts, realizing there's more to life than his day-to-day ritual of getting up, saying good morning to his fish, getting coffee, and then going to his job at the bank, which inevitably gets robbed several times throughout the day. This puts Guy down the path to figuring out what his actual purpose is in the game and whether he can change that. Throughout the movie, he gets involved in adventures and actually ends up helping Molotov Girl with her quest. You see, in the real world, Molotov Girl is a programmer named Millie, who, along with her friend Keys, had their intellectual property and ideas stolen by Tsunami Studios. And she's trying to figure out how she can prove that to free her ideas from the greater world. In the end, Millie and Guy must team up to take down Anton, the head of the studio, played hilariously by Taika Waititi. Seriously, if this were still an age of DVD releases, there would be at least a 35-minute supercut of all the improv he's doing in this movie. The man is killing it. And save Free City as they know it. Now, I know that seems like a really convoluted plot, and I promise you, when you're sitting down and watching the movie, it comes across a lot clearer than you're able to explain it. And the two subplots actually blend really well together. The cast is great. Ryan Reynolds and Lil Rel Howery play Guy, like I said, and his best friend Buddy, with an optimistic naivete that feels kind of familiar to Emmett in the Lego movie, while also being their own thing. Like I said, Taika Waititi steals the show as Anton. And honestly, the only real miss is the casting between Jodie Comer, who plays Millie, and Joe Keery, who plays her ex-partner. They're supposed to have this kind of will they, won't they energy, and it doesn't feel like there's really anything there. There's no actual chemistry between them. Overall, the movie itself is charming, fun, but most of all, original in a way that I feel like I haven't seen from a major studio film in years. Granted, the movie is inspired by video games, like I said, Fortnite and PUBG, but nothing actually comes from them. Guy isn't a pre-existing character from other IP. Aside from some Easter eggs in the background, there's nothing that's tied into a larger universe or anything like that. It's just its own original story that's being told on the screen, and frankly, that's kind of refreshing. Is Free Guy the first of more original, smaller, or at least smaller feeling movies that are going to be released? Or is it a flash in the pan? Is it the last of a dying breed before movies like this get shuttled off to streaming services and never seen on the big screen again? I don't know. But frankly, I think this movie deserves to be celebrated. It's not a perfect film by any ways, but it's a lot of fun. Now, one quick note. This is not a family film in the way that other Disney releases might be. There's a lot of swearing in this, and there's at least one F-bomb that I counted, possibly two. So use your own discretion when bringing your children to see this movie. Free Guy hits theaters on August 13th, and I give it a solid triple, 3 out of 5 stars.